And joining us now is the Shadow Chief Secretary to the Treasury, Pat McFadden. Good morning to you, Pat, from a very wet-looking College Green. As you may have seen there, GBNews had an exclusive report of a hotel in Blackpool where locals are not allowed to get in. It's been taken over by Migrant, a common story. Blackpool is a Labour council. Is this something that you have a position on as the Labour Party?
The hotel's not been taken over by migrants. What's happened is the Home Office has ended up booking hotels in places like Blackpool and around the country to put people up for extended periods of time because of their own failure to process applications, and it's costing a fortune. So it is the Home Office and their system failures that has resulted in people staying in hotels in Blackpool, not just Blackpool, but many other towns and cities around the country.
So are you saying then, in line with your leader's tough rhetoric yesterday about controlling numbers of immigration, it would be a good idea to go more like Nigel Farage and cut down on numbers to stop these kinds of things happening?
Well, Keir Starmer made a speech yesterday to the employers' organisation, the CBI, and he addressed the issue of immigration. And what he's saying is that, of course, we will always need legal migration, people who come to this country and work hard, as my parents did many years ago from the Republic of Ireland, make a new life here. My dad worked on the building sites, and so many people have done that over the decades. And, you know, that contribution, and part of it has made Britain what it is today. But alongside that, of course, we need to do more to train and equip our own workers. That's what we need to make sure people are equipped for the jobs of the future. So, for example, one policy we have is make sure every primary school has a breakfast club so that parents, when they have young children, can get back to work as soon as possible. That's something that would help people here in this country get to work, alongside whatever legal migration that we decide that we need for the future to fill some of the vacancies in our economy.
It's really hard in this day and age to get to work, isn't it, with the unions now imposing further strikes announced yesterday, 8 new dates. Will you condemn them?
Look, no one wants to see strikes because you're right, these strikes produce huge inconvenience for the public, and these latest ones have been announced for the Christmas and New Year period. And this has been going on for 6 months now. Me condemning them doesn't bring a settlement 1 inch closer. But all this is happening under the Tories' watch. Where are the ministers? Why aren't they engaging in this to try to produce a settlement? Because with the railways not working properly, all of it feeds into the idea that there are a number of things in Britain not working properly at the moment. People are scrambling to try to get an appointment with a GP. We've got 7 million people on NHS waiting lists. Why are so many basic services not working properly, and what are ministers going to do about it? The railways is one aspect of that, but there are many others right now too.
So, Pat, you said you won't condemn the strikes, but will you be joining the strikes, or will any of your colleagues be on the picket lines as well?
No. Well, just as I said, me condemning the strikes doesn't bring a settlement any closer. Me turning up on a picket line for a photo opportunity doesn't bring a settlement closer either. This has to be resolved around the negotiating table. I understand why people want a decent pay rise when inflation is running at 10, 11%. All of this and the affordability of what's available has to be taken into account. Maybe the union won't get everything they want at the end of the day. Maybe the employers will have to give a little bit more than they wanted to initially. Either way, we want to see a negotiated settlement to this so we can have a properly functioning railway again, particularly in the run-up to the Christmas and New Year period.
You managed to swerve the question about your colleagues. You said you won't be on a picket line, but, do you think it's the right place for MPs to be, not necessarily on this strike, but as we're facing a winter of discontent? What's your message to fellow Labour MPs when it comes to standing on picket lines?
Well, I would refer them to the advice of Christine McEnany, the General Secretary of the trade union Unison, who was asked this question a few weeks ago and she said, I'm not interested in politicians turning up to picket lines for a photo opportunity. What I want to see is a good deal for my members. I think it was very wise advice from her.
Pat, we're expecting an announcement about 9:45 quite soon, half an hour's time, on the ruling today on the independence referendum in Scotland. How do you think that will go and what would you like to see happen?
Well, I don't know what the court will decide, but from the Labour Party's point of view, we don't want to see another referendum at this time. We had one in 2014. It produced a clear result. We've been discussing some of the issues facing the country in the last few minutes. We've got major cost of living issues. We've got an energy price crisis. We've just had this autumn statement, which has been really a damning indictment of 12 years of Tory stewardship of the economy. We want the next election to be about replacing that government and getting a new direction for the United Kingdom together. We want to keep the United Kingdom together, and that's why we don't want to engage in another bout of constitutional wrangling.
Basis, then you'd rule out any future possible pact with the SNP, would you?
Yes, we've done it many times.
OK, Pat McFadden, we'll leave it there. Shadow Chief Secretary to the Treasury, good to talk to you this morning. Thank you.